So I like to use the breaks as an opportunity to decompress, kind of pull back, look at the big picture, learn some new things, and hopefully develop new perspectives. So given the crazy year we had last year, and me being me, I spent some time this summer looking into catastrophic and existential risk of civilizations. And I learned some really interesting things. First of all, humanity lived in relatively small tribes for tens of thousands of years, roughly 200,000 years. And whenever the size of the tribe, the number of members, would exceed a certain number for any extended period of time, invariably, part of the tribe would break off and start its own tribe. So the number would always go below this certain number. And it was the same story all over the world for 200,000 years. And the theory is that after a tribe exceeds a certain number, it's really difficult to maintain close connections with each individual member. And some members feel disconnected, the tribe isn't really cohesive, their voice isn't being heard, and they get together with their family and friends and start their own thing. So does anyone know what that number is? What is considered the maximum sustainable size of a group or tribe?
I'll take a stab at
Yeah.
it. I'm going to say 200.
200. Anyone else? 50. Okay. Actually, the number is 150. And this is based on research done by Professor Dunbar at the University of Oxford. No relation to Tammy. And he actually became famous for this number, and it's now known as the Dunbar number. The Dunbar number. 150 is considered the maximum sustainable number for a tribe. But, of course, eventually, humanity gathered in larger groups, right? Because now we know in modern society we have some countries with more than 1 billion people. So, what do you think was the catalyst that changed basically 200,000 years of human organization? What was the original catalyst to grow into larger groups of people? Anyone? Farming is a good one. That definitely had an effect of increasing the size, specialization of labor. And there were a number of factors, but that's good. Military war. Basically what happened was, when a tribe would exhaust its natural resources over the years, it would just pick up and go to a new area. Now, eventually, humans pretty much covered the earth and all the good land. And it became more and more difficult to find a good place to move to after you exhausted your natural resources. So some tribes decided, hey, it'll be easier to take someone else's land as opposed to trying to find our own good new land. And basically 200,000 years of mostly peaceful coexistence, that trust went out the door. And once warfare began, everything changed. Now, every tribe had to make a decision. Would they continue to basically live and let live, be peaceful, or would they start dedicating resources to increasing their skills at warfare and the weaponry used? Now, those that decided to remain peaceful were systematically wiped out by those who became skilled at warfare. And also what happened was, eventually, tribes would notice, hey, the tribes that attack first have the element of surprise, and they tend to win. So then some tribe members are thinking, okay, now I don't have any beef with that tribe on the other side of the hill. We've coexisted for generations, but they've got to be seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. Right? We're seeing the same thing. They know that we know that they know. And this is known as game theory, actually. I think it's kind of the advent of game theory, which is a modern term, but it's probably among the beginning times of it. And the game theory is when you have some opposing group or outside group, and they're on the outside, so you can't trust them. And really the only thing you know is that they will do what's in their best self-interest, and that they know you will do what's in your best self-interest. So in this scenario, all right, the tribe that attacks first wins. I know that. They probably know that. They know that I know that they know that I know. Okay, we're just going to attack them. Okay? So we went from largely peaceful coexistence to preemptively striking our friendly neighbors. And this is game theory. Game theory is essentially a race to the bottom. And it's really hard, once it begins, it's really hard to get out of. And we'll take a step back, how it went into larger groups. So at this point, once you started warfare, they also noticed that you couldn't just, after you exhausted your resources, or after a group got too large, they couldn't just break off because they felt like it, because being in small groups was now an existential threat to their survival. And in fact, getting bigger and bigger was what was important. So tribes started co-opting other tribes and forming alliances, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger. So they developed empires. Think Game of Thrones. Why couldn't the kingdom of the north get along with the kingdom of Westeros? Game theory. They couldn't trust each other, so it wound up being an endless war. And really, not much has changed to the modern day, just the means of warfare, from spears to bows and arrows, guns, cannons, missiles, nuclear missiles, information warfare, cyber warfare. But it's not just, and game theory really just isn't warfare, it's in everything. It's in economics, politics, society, and it's really hard to get out of once it starts. So for example, why can't we solve the problem of overfishing? Well, you can get into some agreement, but you don't trust anyone else, so you don't think they'll abide by the agreement. You just grab as many fish as possible, as fast as possible, before they get it. Same thing with deforestation. Pollution. You have some sort of agreement, but you don't think they're going to abide by it, so save money instead of developing clean technology, you just pollute. So game theory is really a race to the bottom in the exhaustion of our resources and destruction of the environment. And it's really hard to get out of. But here at this school, we have escaped the selfish sociopathic behavior of game theory. And actually, we do the opposite. We engage in acts of selflessness and caring. And in a world that has so many people engaged in selfish, sociopathic, game theory behavior, we are actually really special. This is unusual. And it's why we consistently rank at the top of all the surveys. We have the happiest, most satisfied staff, and the happiest, most satisfied families. That's why you tell us, individually in surveys, that this is the best place you've ever worked. That this is the most caring, team-oriented, family-like environment that you've ever been in. That's why when we have visitors from other schools or from the central office, and they come in the building and they kind of relax and start smiling, and they say things like, I like it here. This place has a good vibe. this place has a good vibe. And I've heard that phrase a lot. And when I hear it, I just kind of chuckling inside, because it's like this hippie expression from the 60s. But actually, I realized that it's technically, scientifically accurate. And that's because everything is vibrating. Even this, solidity is an illusion, right? You got the electrons going around the nuclei. Everything is vibrating within some frequency range. And the high frequencies are associated with love, caring, compassion. And the low frequencies are associated with anger, hate, and suffering. And the way I look at it, when you engage in an act of selflessness, even a small act of caring, it's like when you toss a stone into a pond and it creates that ripple effect, the waves going out. When you engage in a small act of kindness and compassion, you raise the frequency level of everything around you. And if you just continue to engage in acts of kindness without really thinking about whether that act will be reciprocated, you just keep dropping your pebble in a pond and the waves go out and increase the frequency. What will happen is that other people will join you and they'll start doing the same thing. And then little by little, the frequency is getting higher and higher, and more people join in. Because just like negativity breeds negativity, positivity breeds positivity. It's contagious. And then eventually, most everyone in the school is raising the frequency level of everything around them. And that's where we are now. We are literally creating high frequency, good vibrations. And those vibrations are felt by everyone here. The children feel it. Through your acts of kindness and compassion and love, the children feel that. And that raises their energy level and positivity and frequency. And they go home. And they smile to their parents and they say how much they enjoy school and how much they love their teachers. And that raises, those good vibrations are felt by the parents, because all they really want is for the children to be happy. So, I don't really know what we can do to tackle the world's problems. But what we do here in generating high-frequency, good vibrations that flow out of the walls of this school and raise the energy level and positivity of the community around us, that is something to be proud of. And that is a good start. Okay, I think that was a bit long-winded. Not certain if I explained myself very well, so if it's okay with you, I'd like to express myself with music. We can be the best. When we work together, we're the model for the rest. We can show the world we don't need to fight. It's always better to do what's right. We reject game theory. It's a thing of the past. It's a race to the bottom, a way to come last. We build trust and know how to cooperate. You can feel the vibe. This is how we operate. You can go the distance. You can run the mile. When you help a child, we're all gonna smile. You can be a hero. You can get the gold. Always helping out without ever being told. Do it for your team. Do it for the hive. We got what it takes. Let's enjoy a high five. Do it for your family. Do it for your name, because there's gonna be a day when you're You're a champion. You're a champion. You're a champion. You are a champion. Be strong. Be positive. Be passionate. Be preachers. Be helpful. Be mentors. Be champions. Be heroes. Be teachers. Be helpful. Be mentors. Be teachers. Be passionate. Be preachers. Be teachers! Okay, show me your trust and repeat after me. BPP is the place to be! BPP is the place to be! You know, I don't think the central office could feel our vibe. Everyone, please stand up. One more time. BPP is the place to be!